Hey guys, this is Daniel.
And Matthew. And we
We
are
are that
that
damn
damn
brand.
brand. And that
Alright.
probably sounded better than you thought it did. We're back for episode 11 of our podcast. And this episode is all about the Electronic Entertainment Expo 2018, also collectively known as E3 to all of us lovely gamers around the world. And
E3 2018.
yes, well, any hoodles, Daniel was lucky enough to be able to attend the show, so he has firsthand knowledge
Yeah,
and
yep.
insights of what went down. So let's start at the beginning. Talk about arriving and seeing, like, I'm sure you saw some crazy stuff around just the city, right? Like crazy advertisements everywhere, posters and signs and.
The only thing I actually saw was on the lamppost they had little E3 flags. Other than the area that I went through, at least, because we stayed a few miles away and they provided a shuttle bus. We were kind of out of the vicinity. So, and then the convention center itself had a big Black Ops 3 along the whole top. I guess Call of Duty
Black
still
Ops
thing,
4.
or whatever the newest one is.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
that's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the new Call of Duty shows how much I care. And then it was around all the whole thing, and it was cool looking. The Xbox Coliseum had this little Xbox stuff, but I wasn't close enough to see any of the other stuff. Because we would come in right before it starts, get in line, and then leave as soon as it ends and go spend time in Little Tokyo or something, because that's where we were staying.
Yeah, so you had the gamer pass instead of the media pass, and so I guess explain to people that aren't in the know what the difference is, basically.
The difference is the media pass, you're able to get in a few hours early. Like, I believe the first day, the media was able to get to E3 at 11 o'clock, while the gamers were able to get in at 2 o'clock. So the media has 3 hours to run around and do all the fun stuff, and without all the gamers bothering them.
The unwashed masses.
Yeah, the peasants. And you'll notice, like, around the second time, there's hardly any media people in line. It's pretty much all gamers. And I guess some of the big media people are able to put appointments in to demo the game, so then they'll just show up out of the fucking nowhere and cut you in line. And it's fucking annoying when you have like a game like The Division. It took us 4 hours to get there, and those parts where the media would just come in and cut in front of everyone, and they take up all the computers, and you wouldn't like the line wouldn't even move. So I don't know. I kind of felt like people with the Gamer Pass were kind of secondhand citizens, for lack of a better term, while there. I know it is a media show, and it is for the media, but then I kind of feel like if you can't give the gamers a good experience, then you shouldn't let them. You shouldn't allow them, or at least restrict the numbers of them. My personal opinion.
No, I mean, I agree with you. When I went in 2010, I don't think there was a game pass. Like, you basically just had to be a member of the media. Um, and so we were able to go for the previous site I worked for. The conditions were you had to have written, like, I think it was 3 reviews within the past, like, 3 or 4 months, and your site had to be like had to have a certain Alexa ranking, and you had to have like certain traffic numbers and all this kind of stuff. But if you met the criteria, you could be verified as media. And so, myself, my friend Nathaniel, who Daniel knows, and some of you may know as well, but me, him, and a few others from that side got to go. But yeah, so there was no gamer pass. So there's, I mean, the lines were still long. I don't recall any long being like a 4 hour wait. But that was the year I believe that the Wii came out, and so like everybody was packed in the Nintendo booth to try all the like new Wii games, like the Wii Zelda and Breath of the Wild or whatever, and
Yeah.
Mario and all that stuff. So um, I probably had a little bit better experience, I guess, because I had more time actually in the convention center. Everything wasn't as long, but lesson learned. So next year we're both gonna go. I'm calling that right now. We're both gonna go, and we're gonna get media passes. So it'll be better.
All right, to the games. What people want to hear about? Well, I guess my advice, like, because I just want to. I wanted to. I was thinking about this when I was there. I do want to say this to people who do listen to it. If it's a once in a lifetime thing, like for me, it was a bucket list thing. I'd say go because you're going to regret not going. But there were some people there, like when we were in line and we were talking, they were saying like, yeah, I'm glad I came because this is something that I always wanted to do ever since I was a kid. But now that I've done it, I kind of can do without because you do spend a lot of money to go. The cheapest E3 hotel was $155 before a night before taxes, which came up to like 176, which that's the one I stayed at. Yeah, cheap. And my whole stay was around $700, $800. That doesn't include the flights. The flight is another like $400, $500, and then the pass itself. I got an early bird one, so I was able to pay the first I think a hundred or first thousand, something like that. Where 150, and then if you missed out, you do 250. So let's just say 250 because that's no price. You're already looking at 1250, like a $1,200. That doesn't include food, which is ridiculously expensive there. Everywhere around there was expensive. It's LA. Transportation to get around, like your Ubers, like a $50 Uber from the hotel or from the uh, airport and back. So that's like $100 just there. That's assuming you don't want to do anything when you're in LA. It's costly. So I would go with caution.
Yeah, it's definitely something you need to plan for and set aside money. I guess budget is probably the correct word. But yeah, we when we went in 2010, we actually got kind of lucky because the guy that was running the website actually would get review copies of games. This is kind of messed up in my opinion, but he would get review copies of games, review them, and then turn around and sell them on eBay. But he would take the money and put it back into the site, and so it's kind of fucked up in that they gave him review copies, and then he was like, cool, here's your review, and then did whatever the fuck he wanted to do with the game. In this case, sell it. But he was able to put aside some of that money, so he was able to contribute to everyone's like hotel stay and that sort of thing. We had to buy our own plane ticket, but every little bit helps. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Um, Hopefully, I'm not saying we're doing the same thing. I mean, hell, we're very lucky to even get a review code every now and then. So
Well, nowadays it's digital copies, so we can't do that either way. Either way.
true, yeah,
Yeah.
we were getting Xbox games and PlayStation games and stuff, but yeah, for physical or for digital games, it's a whole nother story. Um, but yeah, so all right, so you mentioned a little bit about it, but you said you had a really interesting story about how you got kicked out.
Yeah, so we initially got off the bus and they told us to get in some line and to do our registration. Apparently it was a media line, but no one told us that it was a media line for registration. So we're in line and I'm behind around like five Asian dudes. I guess they're from like Japan and they're from some Japanese press. And we finally get to the front and they ask him how many people are with him, and he says 20. So I'm guessing he doesn't really know English that well because even the guy that was at the door was like 20, and he was like, yeah, 20. So I'm like, all right. So there's five of them, and then they let us in because we're the ones right behind them, and they think that's with them. So we get in, we register our stuff, and we get our badges, and then we're like inside E3. But like I didn't know to go in the showroom because I knew it's still we only had till two. But technically, the part that I was in like had like an Overwatch picture thing where every single day, it's a green screen, and every single day they put a different level up. Like I think it was like Valhalla one day, it was Hollywood another day, or not Valhalla, Volskaya. I'm sorry.
Sky, yeah.
Yeah, so like we were in there, and then there was like the Jurassic Park Jeep, which I have a picture of. I just haven't posted on Instagram yet on our drive, and there was Spyro there too. So there was like smaller things there that weren't really like the big things. So I was in E3, I just didn't know it, and eventually some guy comes out like, "Hey gamers," because I was with my cousin. You can't be back here. And they're like, "What?" Yeah, how'd you get in? I don't know. They kind of just told me to come in. So he took us out and threw us to the gamer pen. But for around a good 15 minutes, I was in E3, and if I'd have known that I was actually there, I would have been like going to the store and shop before everyone else could come in. Yeah.
That's kind of funny, man. Like,
Yeah.
I still can't believe that they were. But okay, so here's my thing from just hearing the story. Like, I didn't click to it when you told it to me off camera, but How did he know that you were gamers? Like, does the little
Okay,
lanyards in the past look that much
yeah. If
different
you want me to
than
go
before?
back, I can go. I have my lanyard over there, but yeah. So the lanyard is it's your name, then it says Gamer Pass or Gamer something. But the lanyard thing that holds your like the plastic thing that holds the badge is blue, while the media's is clear.
Oh,
So it's a clear blue.
so it's
Yeah,
very easy to identify then.
yeah.
Okay, got it. All right. Yeah, because I was kind of like, if he saw you like from across the room and could read that it said gamer or something, and I'm like, man, that guy is fucking supervision, like crazy. Okay, well, that's still that's kind of an interesting story. You should have tried to find out who the Japanese media was and then contact them and be like, hey, what the hell? Your guy left for
Yeah.
E3 and then we got kicked out. Like, that's some bullshit. But yeah, so now we'll talk about the games that people are probably most interested in. So the game that's actually getting us a lot of hits on YouTube right now is actually Ninjala. So can you tell us a little bit more about that game? Because it seems that people are very interested in that one in particular.
Sure. I actually had a little fun with it. I think it's one of those games that I could play every now and then, and maybe at a party you would, trade off and on, but nothing that I can get too seriously competitive in, like the way I am with Overwatch. The way it works is, so you're a ninja who blows up bubbles, like bubblegum, and that's kind of like your mana, for lack of a better term. So with the bubblegum, you can pull out a weapon. In the demo, there was only a bat, but they said that there's going to be more weapons in the regular game. So depending on how big you blow up your bubble is how big the item is and how much durability it has. But the bigger it is, the slower it swings, but the stronger it is. So you kind of want to find a good balance. You don't want anything too small that doesn't do any damage at all, but you don't want anything too big where you're never going to hit. So you manage your durability and you manage your bubble, but if you blow your bubble up too big and someone hits you, it pops and you kind of fly up in the air and land and stick to the floor where you're stuck for like 5 seconds. So you don't want to keep your bubble around at the same time. It's a really good mix of
Offense
risk
and
reward.
defense, yeah.
Yeah, very risk and reward. You want to find the right bat for your bat weapon. Or I guess I'm just saying bat because that's what's available. You want to keep some bubbles, so if anything happens, like you can use it to dash. So if you dash, the bigger the bubble is, the farther you dash. You can spit the bubble out at someone and do damage like a projectile, and the bigger it is, the more damage it does. So it's kind of risk rewardy because if you have too big of a bubble, they can use it against you just by hitting you, and I really like that. So it looks like it's pretty fun. It looks like it's a looks like a little party game, but it has a little bit of complexity into it, but not enough to like be super in depth. I guess in my opinion, but it was cool.
And that's a Switch game, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because I was watching the footage that's uploaded on our YouTube page, which you can go to. Is probably right here or right here, somewhere around here. Uh, anyway, it looks like Splatoon. I think it's that other one where you kind of like go
It
around.
kind of does look like Splatoon.
You put ink all around the ground and everything,
Yeah.
or colored, and yeah, I thought that game was kind of fun. But yeah, Ninjala looked like a lot of fun as well. What I thought was funny about the footage is though is that you were basically like in first place right until the last second, and then you got second.
Actually got last, the third place person. So they have like this weird point system that I don't even know how it works because it's not based on kills. I don't know if it's based on damage or stuff that you do. And then at the very end, it gives you bonus points for like jumping the most, or I don't know, like it's just some random shit. Like I had another conversation with someone at E3 in one of our mini lines that that I was talking to about that, and like he was a very competitive person as well, and I could tell because of the things that we were analyzing about the game. And we both agree, like, it was kind of bullshit how they give you points for, like, the most random shit ever. Like, I guess that's their way of trying to keep it party-ish, the way, like, Nintendo tries to do with Mario Party and Smash, at least the older Smashes. I can't speak for Ultimate, but tripping.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Kind of like a participation trophy, or everyone did a good job, and so yeah.
Yeah.
There was a game on Xbox that did that too. I think Fusion Frenzy didn't it do some dumb shit like that?
No, I love Fusion Frenzy. I played the shit out. Maybe two, but number one's in it for sure. I played the shit out of that with my cousins.
Yeah, that game was fun. That game was really fun.
Yeah,
They should remake that for Xbox Anywhere, Play Anywhere, or whatever.
that'd be cool.
That would be cool. Um, Yeah, so all right, well Ninjala, let's move on for a sec. And then another game that we got Well, it's been getting some hits. Code Vein.
Code Vein?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we had a 7 minute demo with Code Vein. And it was the footage I have on there is just me while I'm in line. Like you get really close to the screens, so I just took footage. I like taking the raw beta demo or footage because it shows rawness. Not like the tutorials that sometimes you see at E3. Oh, we're gonna come over here and plant this bomb right here. Oh no, we're ambushed. Like so. It was really cool. It reminded me a lot of Dark Souls. You manage your stamina. Every roll takes stamina. Every attack takes stamina. You have a strong attack, a quick attack. But you have, at least in the demo, I don't know if it's through the whole game, you have a AI partner, and they're actually good. They saved my ass a few times, and it's very Dark Soulish, honestly. If you like Dark Souls, you're gonna like Cold Vein. Like there's really nothing for me to say about it other than Dark Souls. Like I didn't play, obviously 7 minutes, so there's not much that I can talk about outside of that 7 minutes. But it played like Dark Souls.
Yeah, and then I mean, just from the footage that you took, it looks really good. It. I guess I didn't play. I don't know if it's because I haven't played enough Dark Souls, but I feel like it's a bit more vibrant or colorful than Dark
Yes,
Souls.
Dark Souls a little more grayscale-ish looking game. Yeah, this one did look more colorful. I agree with you there.
Okay. But yeah, it looks cool. I thought it looked cool too. It's made by Bandai Namco.
Ben
Or
from Software.
I looked that up on YouTube on Wikipedia. It just said Bandai Namco is dev and publisher.
Okay, well then I lied.
But I mean, but they're the ones who I think published Dark Souls. So if
They
it's
are.
very Dark Souls-y, then that's why. I mean, I'm sure they probably worked very close to it from software, and maybe even, took a version of their engine or something to help make Code Vein. Because I mean, if you can get a version of a game that's very similar to one that you like, then I'm sure it reduces the development time, exponentially because you just kind of got to change some stuff around, colors, and
Yeah,
so.
the
But
engine's there.
yeah, so I mean that's one to look forward to. Did you? We didn't get a chance to talk about this, so I'm just gonna ask you on the fly. Did you get a chance to see? I think it was called Psycho or Siako or whatever. The other one that actually is from Software, the one
No,
that's like Tenchu mixed with Assassin's Creed mixed with Dark Souls. It's kind of like set in like China or the Asia or whatever, and it's like there's a lot of parkouring and jumping off ledges, and but the combat reminded me very much of Dark Souls, having to like roll around and there's like sword fighting and stuff. So you didn't see that at E3 at all?
I don't think I did, but I saw a few games that looked like Dark Souls that I wasn't aware of, so I may have, but off the top of my head, I don't remember the name.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that game I was like, wow, that game looks really cool. If it's co-op, that would be amazing. I don't think it would be, but it would be really cool because I saw that in the Xbox like conference they
Yeah.
have, and I was just like, wow, this game looks cool. So yeah, all right, move on from that. Tell us a little bit about Jump Force.
Jump Force, I think we played the second day. That was really fun. So it's kind of like a DBZ game where you have the point of view from behind your character, and you kind of lock on to the opponent far in the distance. And, you fly around. Um, it kind of played like previous DBZ games, which is not a bad thing. I think that's a fun type of game. It's not one that you get into too much into, like the DBZ fighters, where you can get really, really deep into. But it's one that, or it's fun enough where you can, have some playability and bring over friends. I really liked. So what I haven't told you yet is actually we like right after we got done playing that game, one of the guys was like, "Hey, we're having a presentation over here for our games that we're showing off. Would you like to come?" And me and my cousin said, "Yeah." So we went in there, and they actually showed us some footage of the game, the trailer again, and then they talked about a little bit of what they're trying to accomplish, and they showed some like concept art and stuff, and that was really cool. So I'll get back to the gameplay, but I really appreciate what they're trying to do here. In the trailer, you see the One Piece dude. I don't know his name, so please forgive me.
Yeah, same boat, One Piece. Yeah.
I think he's Luffy, but you'll see him. He'll jump and he'll land on the American flag while they're in Times Square. What they're trying to do is that it's kind of it's not a clash of the worlds of anime. It's a clash into our world. So everything, all the stages, all the story places take place in real areas, and they're trying to get it looking as close as possible to the real area of the world. So, and they were talking about how the hardest thing for their creative design, for their artists to do was to take the anime characters and turn them realistic, somewhat realistic looking, because they want them to look like they belong in our world. So I thought that was a real cool concept that they're saving that it's all the superheroes trying to destroy our world, not like Dragon Ball Z Earth or whatever the hell One Piece or Naruto is. Then I really appreciate how they're trying to do that, and they're trying to incorporate all the real world aspects into it. But what do you say?
Well, I was just gonna say, so like, did they show you like any characters that they haven't shown off in there? Like,
No,
they didn't show like Saitama, aka One Punch Man, or
no,
no?
I didn't see anything that no one else knows. It's just they show the art and the process of them going taking Naruto from anime to Naruto to the game, and how they were trying to make him. They like had a side by side comparison showing how they try to make him look more realistic instead of more anime.
And without making them look creepy, because I remember I saw
Right.
like a realistic, I think it was a version of Beavis and Butthead, and that looked
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. So yeah, I can see what they're trying to do. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that. So I will probably get the game later on when it goes on sale a little bit, just to play through the story because I think that's fascinating. The gameplay itself is kind of like what we played before, maybe a little bit more refined.
So would you? So in terms of the gameplay, I think you mentioned it in the recap video, but it's more Xenoverse than Fighter Z.
Right. Yes, it's more behind the fight, lock on, fly around, charge up, how you have your attacks. There's something that we didn't really get to do on the do on the trailer or the demo much because I heard to do that like people would actually have to leave their controller alone for like 2 minutes and just get beat up enough. Was transform because the way you transform in the game, from what I understand, is you get the shit beat out of you enough, you can eventually transform into like Super Saiyan or I think for Naruto it's Nine Tails Fox whatever.
I have no
He
idea.
he has a fox spirit in him. I think it's Nine Tails.
Okay.
Um, with the One Piece guy, you can transform whatever his is. Um, so yeah, I've heard that you had to like just stay there and get punched because I did notice when I would combo the AI, I would like 20% them or whatever. When they'd combo me, I would get like 5%ed. So the demo was really trying to let everyone win, and because of that, it locked that part of the soft locked that part of the game because if you're really trying to play, you would never.
Let yourself get beat up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that badly. Yeah.
So what you're saying is there weren't any Goku transformations, or if there were, they were very rare.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And the demo had two characters from One Piece, two characters from DBZ, and two characters from Naruto.
Who was the other DBZ character? Oh, Frieza.
Frieza.
Yeah, that's right. He was in the trailer. And then they
Yeah.
showed at the end of the trailer was Yagami Light from Death Note with Ryuk, the I already forgot the name of it, but yeah, the spirit or whatever. I think that'll be interesting to see how the hell he plays. Like,
Well,
you just have to give yourself enough space. You can write in the Death Note, and the other guy just dies.
I'm gonna burst your bubble. They're not playable.
Really?
They're only to advance the plot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's cool because I couldn't imagine honestly how the fuck they would play. Like, I guess Yagami Light could be like a brawler, but in terms of like, I mean, his whole thing is just that he has the Death Note. So,
Right.
and if he had the power to just write somebody's name and have them die, then yeah, that pretty much defeats the point of fighting.
Goku. That's how you win.
He takes like 5 episodes to charge up the Kamehameha or whatever, and the whole time while he's charging, like Yagami's just like, yeah, Goku dies while charging up Spirit Bomb, Kamehameha, whatever, and so he just and dies. Okay, well that's cool. At least they're gonna be in it though, because Death Note, aside from the like last 5 episodes, Death Note's one of my favorite animes, so it's cool. So there was no hints at all of what other animes they plan on doing. They're just like,
No.
okay,
But I've heard Yu Yu Hakusho. I've heard One Punch Man.
that would be
You know,
awesome.
like he's in the previous Jump game, so I don't see why he wouldn't be in this one.
Oh, there was another game like this?
There's been multiple. Like I remember back when we were in college, there was a Jump game on DS. It was kind of like Smash, except all the anime characters. One of
Okay,
the one of the guys in the roost had it.
cool. I was not aware of that. I thought that's why everyone was freaking out because it's like, oh my god, they're doing this anime crossover fighting game, but Okay. Sweet. So, all right, move on from Jump Force now. I guess Destiny 2 Gambit mode?
Yeah, Gambit. My experience with it wasn't great. The first time we had some jackass that didn't know how to play. The second time we had some jackass that didn't know how to play. So, but anywho, pretty much it's both teams are in their own separate worlds that are the same, and you kill as many monsters as you can, and you get these orbs. But if you die, they just disappear. But you're fighting AI, so you shouldn't die. You shouldn't is the keyword. But
Right.
hey, people found a way.
Life finds a way.
Yeah. So if you bank five at a time, like you send like a little monster and it locks their bank where they can't bank anymore. They have to kill the monster, but the monster's weak. You bank 10 at a time, it sends a bigger one. You bank 15 at a time, it sends a bigger one. You bank 25 at a time, you open up a portal, which
Allows you to go over and
you
kill them.
which allows you to go over and you have an overshield and you can kill them. So it's an interesting concept of it. It I can see how it would be good with a good team or a team that at least know what they're doing. Like I had a team where we had enough. Oh, when you finally put in 75 nodes, you summon a big boss monster, and when you kill whoever kills the boss monster first wins. It's because that was a time where we had enough nodes because it shows you in white of how many nodes your team has that hasn't banked. And it shows you in blue how much you've banked. So we had enough in white, and it was one dude who had 10, but he never went to cash in, and then he eventually died just to some random ass fucking like
Hive or
monster.
something.
Yeah, like some fucking dude, stupid bullshit. Like so, they kind of reminded me of Overwatch because the second time we played, like I was in line with this guy and we were just talking Destiny the whole time. And he's a huge Destiny fan. We were talking about it, and then we go in there and we lose, and we're like, "What the fuck happened?" And we look at the score at the end. Like me, my cousin, and him all banked like 30 something nodes each between the games, and our random ass fucker banked zero nodes. So
That'll do it.
yeah, I was like, how did we lose? We were doing well. We were killing. Like, what the fuck? It was like nothing we could have done. And that's fucking why, because we had a jackass. So I don't know. Like, I can see how it's a good mode. And maybe it's because E3 and there's a lot of people there who are like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just going to play Destiny because it's the cool thing to play. You know, like, I don't know. All in all, it'll probably be a good mode.
And so,
I,
and that's going to be part of the Forsaken content that's coming out in September, I believe.
yes,
Okay,
that's the new game mode.
and you just, I think you just looked up yesterday. It's going to be $30, $40.
$40 the for the expansion alone, and I believe it's $70 for the expansion and the pass. Which I don't know if you're aware, there's a pass, the Forsaken pass as well.
But that's for like more content in the future, right? Kind of like a
That's kind
season
of
pass.
yeah, kind of like the shit that we bought before.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if the shit is just as shitty, but we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. So, all right, moving on from Destiny, let's talk about For Honor Marching Fire. What is? Did you get to kind of figure out what the differentiation was between that and the base game? Like, what are they adding or whatever?
No, I didn't know.
Okay.
I played it though, but it played like For Honor. Yeah, it's an expansion, probably just adding more classes. Oh, in the airport, I was actually talking to someone who plays For Honor, like on the way back, and like For Honor is like one of his main games, and he was saying that they were adding new people and new maps,
Yeah, when we were playing the beta, I remember there being, I think,
like nine.
9, 10 people or something. And I think they went
Yeah.
up to like 15 or 16. So,
Well, the season
uh,
pass added some too, so they've
okay.
added some throughout. It's kind of like Rainbow Six, how if you have the season pass, you get them like 7 days early, and then so I think this one's adding more on top of that.
Wow. Okay.
The
Yeah.
roster was pretty good
Yeah. So the game was also free until what is today?
today,
Is it
17th.
today? No, I think
Or is it
it's
tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow. I think it's the 18th. But yeah, I mean it depends on when this video goes up anyway. But if you see this in time, go grab For Honor if you don't have it already. Free on the
You
Uplay
play.
store or whatever. Probably have to download the crappy launcher, but yeah. All right, so that's pretty much For Honor. I don't imagine there's anything else to add to that. So
No.
one of the big ones that we got some decent footage of is the Division 2, and like you said, you spent 4 hours in line to play that game. So tell us a bit about it.
It's different. It's very different. Like the cover system's the same, and I guess the core gameplay is the same, but they're taking away your customizable character. Or I'm not gonna say customizable because they may let you dress them up, but I guess I should say customizable class, and they're making you choose a class now. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be able to customize within the class, but it's not gonna be like how you can have like a defense and then a defensive ability and a healing ability. Like in the beta, they had, I'm not the beta, I'm sorry. In the demo, they had sharpshooter, which is your sniper, who's a special weapon. Like everyone has three weapons. Like they have two primaries and a special. And the special one, you had to pick up ammo throughout the level. It was special ammo that really dropped. So you had a survivalist, which had a sniper rifle without a scope, an M1, and I think it was an SMG, and their main weapon was a crossbow with a that lights people on fire when you shoot them.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. And then you had the demolition, which their special weapon is a
Rocket
grenade launcher.
launcher,
Yeah, it was a
grenades. Yeah.
grenade launcher, and I think they had like an assault rifle and an LMG. And it was different. The health system is different. You have armor, and then you have health, and and your health. I didn't notice it regenerate, but sometimes I saw other people's health regenerate. So I really don't know how the health regenerates.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. So, watching the footage that you captured, I think you mentioned you asked the guy something about like the health or armor or something. He told you to get in cover and recharge your armor. Like you have to like hold a direction or a button or something, and it recharges your armor.
So that is a consumable. I don't
Oh,
know if you
okay,
noticed, it replaces the med kit.
okay.
So it patches up your armor.
And so it's kind of like you become an elite enemy, whereas they have to take down your armor before they can take down your health.
Correct, and that's just your system, but that's just the system. So it's not like how your health can constantly regenerate. I didn't see any way to regenerate armor other than by using a repair pack. So I don't know if that's just the way to make it a little bit harder, so you just can't keep yourself at max health all the time because you can't because max health would technically be with armor.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out kind of like the. So you would essentially like let's say you're almost dead, your health's gonna go away, but then you get into cover and you recharge your armor, your health will slowly regenerate back, or does
My
it
health
like?
came back too, so it was like an armor pack. It was like a
Oh,
repair
so
kit.
when
So
you did use the consumable, you got your armor and your health back.
yes,
Okay, okay.
but I don't know if there's gonna be like a medic class or maybe an engineer or something that has like blowtorch and blows your
Your
fucking armor
fucking
back. Like
fucking
I don't.
Torbjorn just walks up with a little hammer. My baby.
So like I don't. Obviously, we only saw three classes, and my guess is they're gonna do it the way that they've been doing ever since Rainbow Six. They've done it with Ghost, now they're doing it with For Honor. They're probably gonna release classes, and you buy the season pass, and you get the classes early or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be drastically different in terms of what the players are or the characters are like. Anything from snipers to tech people, things that you wouldn't be able to even imagine. They'll probably add mechanics into the game for them.
And so, I mean, to me, one of the biggest things about the division is like the whole loot thing. You kill a boss or find a chest or whatever, and you get loot. But if you're like, let's say I'm playing the assault class that has the crossbow or whatever, like, am I basically relegated to just finding a better crossbow, or like the regular main weapon, like as you said, like an assault rifle? That's all I'm going to be finding for my loot. Like, I'm not going to find any snipers because I'm not playing a sniper class, or is that not something you asked them?
So that's something I asked him, but based on what I saw, my guess is that the class kind of narrows you into your special ability, like your super weapon, and your abilities. Your bumpers that you have to, like I guess the healing box that we use in Division One or whatever it's called, the med station. I'm guessing that's what's going to be more so constricted.
So you can still like, let's say I wanted to be a sniper for whatever reason, but I was playing assault. If I'm able to run a sniper probably, is what you're saying.
My guess is yes, because I believe I found weapons of other classes.
Okay.
So I obviously didn't try because we were playing the game, but
Well, because I was just curious, because it's like if they're going to be changing the game that drastically, like one of the big parts about it is like, you go into a situation in the division and you're like, shit, I wish I had a sniper. Let me just go into my menu and equip a sniper, and then, you can start sniping guys. If you're relegated to only playing assault and you can't switch to a sniper, you're like, I really wish I had a sniper right now, but unfortunately the developers locked me into playing this fucking class.
but I'm pretty sure like that's your main weapon. Like I can't imagine them being like you can only play these strike because the sniper's main weapon or third weapon is an anti-material rifle. So regardless, he's going to have a sniper rifle. He's just going to have like an overpowered one, like how the other one has a grenade launcher and the other person has a crossbow. I'm pretty sure those are kind of locked in, or at least within a variety, like pick four of them or whatever, pick from four.
All right.
That's what I'm guessing is going to come into. Like
Well,
I can't imagine them restricting them. I think it's going to be more Borderlands-esque, where you can have Zero who's a sniper but doesn't really restrict him to it.
right. I guess a lot of it too will depend on how they do like the trees or whatever, like the abilities and that sort of thing. You didn't really get a chance to mess with that either.
No, they didn't. It actually you didn't even get to select your character, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
you said it was like where you sat down at the station was what character you got to be.
yeah. So the way it worked and probably why it took so long is every single time you play, it's only three players like from the line, and then a Ubisoft developer who explains the game to you. So the fourth slot is always a developer. So only three people are coming in and playing at each station. And the fourth person, or the Ubisoft person, always played a sharpshooter. All of them were sharpshooters. And then each of the stations were a separate person. Was like one was the survivalist, which is the crossbow person. Then you had the sharpshooter, and then you had the demolition. So depending on where you sat down is who you played.
So I mean, and then based on that description you just gave, how come you were able to play sharpshooter then?
Because me and my cousin were the first two in line.
Well, but I mean, like, I thought you said all the devs were playing sharpshooter. Like, they let you play sharp and they played
Well,
something
so
else, or
so the devs all played sharpshooter, and then there was a sharpshooter also. There was two sharpshooters in the match.
okay, got it. That's what I was confused about. All right, cool. So the one you played sharp, your cousin played assault,
No, he played a survivalist, the one with the bow.
survivalist. Well, I thought that's kind of like the assault class.
No,
And
the
what?
demolition.
Oh, okay,
Demolition was the grenade launcher person.
right, okay. Cool, cool beans. I mean, I'm looking forward to it still. Like, we actually just jumped off Division One a little while ago. We booted it up because they introduced a shield system, which is a means of unlocking future content for the Division Two, and so we were jumping in trying to get some of those unlocks. But unfortunately, as much good updates that they've done to the Division One, it still has a lot of underlying issues, specifically the Dark Zone and them not separating the gear brackets far enough, I guess, because the zone that we got into said gear score 256 plus, but if I'm not mistaken, the gear score can get all the way up to like 300 or close to 300. I think I'm at 280 and Daniel's 279, but we went in there, we got killed by some rogues, and they were like Dark Zone level 99, and they're getting shot in the face, and they're just like tanking it, and basically like they made us their bitch, and it's just really unfair because obviously they're probably a lot higher geared than we are, but we're in the same tier as them because it's just 256 plus. So I feel like they still have issues they need to work out from the core game, but from what I've seen of the E3 footage and that sort of thing, I do like at least where the story is going and how it's DC instead of New York, and just the kind of changes that they've made so far. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's gonna be a cool game. I liked the core game, and I liked the Dark Zone while we were leveling up because everyone was still trying to figure it out. And when you're within those lower level gear brackets, you're actually close enough to where you can kill someone. We used both of our signature abilities. We only fought one guy too. The other people, like the third guy, was cutting our shit off the rope, and the other I don't know what the fuck the other one was doing, jerking off somewhere. But we fought one dude. We used both our signature abilities, I was point blanking sniping him in the face, and Matt was shooting him, and we both still died. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. I'm tired of that shit. It's you can't have a game where it's so gear based that you can't even fight back. It's just stupid. Okay, go ahead.
No,
I can
no.
go on forever.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Just hit
Well,
us with some more.
it's just, I understand giving it an advantage. So the gear brackets should probably be a little bit closer because if you have better gear, you should have an advantage over me, and I should have to play to outsmart you or something like that. Or a 2-on-1, you should still be able to win. But just to be able to tank it the way you are, and that's probably why they're rogue all the fucking time. Because we saw them running up in the northern part of the map when we were in the southern part, killing everyone. So it's probably just they're so fucking strong that no one can fight them. So they just have nothing better to do in their lives than pick on people in these games. Like,
Go ahead.
well, I like competitive games, but competitive means you can compete, and I don't feel like I can compete in this game. I feel like if I just have to run around, try to outsmart them by triggering a shitload of evac points and just hope they don't come to the one that I'm at. Like it's fucking stupid.
That's yeah, and that's really sad too. Is that we thought we were safe because they were like towards the north and we were all the way in the south. And we are like, oh, we got this, and nope, sure enough, they actually came to get us. Goddamn asshats. It's just ridiculous. At least that aspect of it. And I was talking to Daniel about this. It's possible that there's hackers in the game, because at this point, even though Ubisoft has been supporting the division with future updates and that sort of thing, patches and whatnot to make the game better, it's probably likely that they're not giving as much of a shit about hackers as they did like when the game first came out. Because they're obviously their attention is focused on the Division 2, so it's possible that those guys could have been hackers or something, but I mean maybe not. Maybe they're just that ridiculously geared because the Division, if you spend enough time in it, you can like min max your gear and you can just have like the elite of the elite. Like I try to get the highest kind of DPS that I can with the build that I ran, and Daniel plays very smart with his gear sets and stuff as well. But we just got demolished, and it's not fair. Like it's not competitive, and I feel like he's right. It should be. And like you said, how like if one person is geared but they're on a 2-on-1, they should be able to maybe survive, but just not destroy us. Like that was just ridiculous. So I hope they fix a lot of the Dark Zone aspects in the Division 2, but we'll see. What about Smash Bros. Ultimate? Like the footage we got wasn't too great, so I didn't even post it. But you didn't really play it, or
No, I played it. I was just agreeing with you. It was cool because it had a lot of throwback levels. Like we played on Saffron, and I played Ness on that. They gave us 4 rounds, and unfortunately, we got stuck with one of the guys that works the booth. Like not all the booths had actually someone that works Nintendo booths playing. Like some of them, it was just 2 people come in and they play against each other for 4 rounds. So we had a 3-player match. Um, I didn't expect to see Ryu. I don't know if he was in the previous Smashes.
he was in the Wii U version as
Okay,
DLC.
all right.
Ryu and Bayonetta.
Okay, I knew Bayonetta was. I didn't know about Ryu. Riley's in there, the dragon from
Ridley.
Ridley. Sorry,
Yeah. Metroid. Yeah.
yeah, Metroid. And it was fun. I played like Smash. Like if you like Smash, you like that. Nothing much has changed. I
Uh,
didn't experience tripping, so that was a good thing. It was good.
yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
Yeah.
there it is. So this is running a little long, which is to be expected, I guess, because there's a lot of E3 things. But I wanted you to at least mention one more thing, and that was the part that you were telling me about how you had a couple of experiences at E3 with people being dicks.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of dicks there.
Well, the 2 stories that you told me specifically.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about already. So the first one is Valve. Valve was showing off their display link where they had for their Vive, and they had a stand where they had like a minigun, which is kind of cool because you would hold it and it was a serious Sam minigun, and you play at the Serious Sam Way defense game in VR, and you would spray people down with the minigun. But I didn't go there to play. I saw that was cool. I can play that at home on, my fucking Oculus. I don't need a little minigun. That was cool. But I actually wanted to talk to the guys there, and there was a Valve guy. I didn't get his name, and there was a display link guy, and they were really just sitting there jerking each other off, talking about how great this display link thing is. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, the display link guy was like, "This is the best thing I've ever made," and then the other guy's like, "Yeah, it's been great," rah, rah, rah. So pretty much, I walk up to them because I had a question about the Vive Pro. I'm still a little interested in it, even though it's like super expensive. But I don't want to buy the all the old shit just for the new shit to come. Like, for you who don't know, the only current gen or the Pro stuff that's out is the headset. You still need to have the 1.0 version of the sensors and all the 1.0 stuff except for the headset to play the Vive Pro. You just use the 1.0 stuff, but they're going to come out with the 2.0 stuff later. So my question was going to be like, hey, when are you going to come out with the 2.0 stuff where you can package everything all at once? So I don't have to buy outdated shit and then, rebuy everything. I walk up to him and he looks at me and he looks down at my badge and kind of was like, oh, he ain't anyone. So he continues and talks to the other guy, which is fine because they were in the middle of a conversation. I don't that doesn't bother me. What did bother me is when they were done talking, knowing that I had a question, because he said, hey, I said, hi. We like addressed each other. Is when they were done talking, he just turned around and went to the back. That's what fucking pissed me off. And
That's fucked up.
yeah, that's just dickish. And I don't know if he heard me or not, because me and my cousin were walking around looking for shorter lines for things. And we walked by that one time. My cousin like stopped and said like, hey, do you want to talk to him? Like, nah, he's an asshat. And we just kept walking. So I don't know if he heard me, because he did look my direction after I said that. But
Fuck him. He deserves it.
yeah,
If he's an asset, he's an asset. Like, fuck that guy. That sucks, man. And then there was another one with I already
but
forgot.
Insurgency or something like
Yeah,
that.
there's a new Insurgency game coming out. Yeah, or something
Yeah,
like that.
so Insurgency was actually the first line that we got in, because the line was short, the game looked cool, so we got in there. And we were like a few people behind, but like their whole their whole booth, they only had 8 computers, so they only had one game going on at a time because it was a 4-on-4. Their whole booth was for media, pretty much. So the bystanders were able to fill in whenever a media person doesn't show up. So it's already shit as it is. But so the guy's like, I don't know. There's gonna be a new group here coming. We don't know if we can get you in. If you want to stick around for a little while, blah blah. I'm like, all right, cool. So we stick around for a while. They can't get us in. We knew that was gonna happen beforehand. We said, okay, well, we don't look busy tomorrow or the last day. We can set you an appointment up to come back. So I go to the front to where they set up the appointment. They're like, no, we can only set up an appointment for media. I have a gamer tag, so I'm not media. And they said, no, you can't do that. Sorry, but we're like free this time if you want to come back. And before I went over there, the guy said, like, when you come back, I'll remember your 2 faces, and I'll bring you up because I know you guys want to play and you guys waited in the line for some, and you get to play. So we come back in the time that the lady says, and there is a line there because people are going to be waiting around because it's E3. And sure enough, there's spots open because there's a lot, like maybe 2 media people show up. So they let people in, and then there's some room, and he's going down, looking at the people. He sees my cousin, locks eyes with him. He sees me, locks eyes with me, and then just walks on. I'm like, wow, you're a fucking dick. Like, don't make these promises if you're not going to keep them.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. I can't believe people would even do that. Like,
Like, it's cool, like if you say like, no, we can't guarantee anything. Maybe you can come back later, and not say, hey, I'm gonna get you in.
yeah. Can you
But
like? I mean, that kind of reminds me of really boss or Riley boss or whatever with Knights of the Drown. Like we kept waiting to play Knights of the Drown in VR at PAX South, and there was always people taking forever and stuff. And then we let Willie go on Saturday because he only had a 1 day pass, and so then finally Sunday he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get you in for sure," and he actually got us in. But like if he said like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you in for sure," and then decided that he wasn't going to or something, like I would have
yeah,
been fucking pissed, dude. I would have been fucking pissed. So. Yeah, people suck.
yeah. But that's why that's why I gave the disclaimer at the beginning. It's kind of like, You are really secondhand citizens when you are there on a gamer pass. Like no one gives a fuck about you.
Yeah, well, next year will be different. So
Yeah,
yeah. All right. Well, that's probably gonna do it for this episode. It's running almost close to an hour. I might have to edit. It might be shorter than that, but we'll call it up for this a wrap on this episode covering all of E3. So for that damn brand, I've been Matthew,
I've been Daniel.
and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Peace.
Bye.